So I'm just going to talk, and then when you answer, you just, and if you, how good, and if you, you don't need to bring that too close. If it's just sitting right here, it'll be good. And look into the camera because the people will be listening. Hey there, Amanda here with my mum, Julie. We thought we'd have a chat with you today about longevity and what Jule does every single day to make a difference to her body and her mind. Jule turned 80 about a month and a bit ago, wasn't it, Jule?
Mm-hmm.
About 6 weeks ago? No.
Yeah, it's
about 6 weeks. Yeah, about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So, and a few people had suggested that they'd quite like to hear what Jule does. So, let's maybe just start off with, what do you do in the morning as a routine, Jule?
I feel as if I should be saying something really inspirational, but but I'm going to be quite honest. I sort of stagger out of bed. Then,
once you do your staggering, what happens next?
Then I put the coffee on in my mocky pot.
That's where I got that from. Okay.
Then, this is a good thing I do, you know. I don't know the coffee's that good, but then I'll have a glass of water.
Mm-hmm.
And then while the coffee's brewing, I will do a few, what I call joint release. It's a joint release routine.
Yeah, okay.
And as I hear the coffee perking, I hurry up the routine so I can get to the coffee.
And then what do you do after that? Drink your coffee?
Well, yes, because then I've been so good doing those that little joint release. I said, now I deserve my coffee.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so so this leads me into what you do with your day and your food regime. So, do you eat breakfast after that, or?
I try not to.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling really hungry, I will.
Yeah.
But I try to leave eating until mid-morning.
Yeah, right.
Because then I find I'm more productive, I guess you could say. I'll be doing the chores or whatever it is I think I need to be doing to set myself up for the day.
I need to ask you a question here, Jule. What about your mum and dad? Did they live to 80?
No, they didn't. My dad, he died at 55, and he always was a very fit man, and we learned later that he did have a heart condition, and then from then on he walked a lot, he looked after his diet, but it just wasn't enough, unfortunately.
What about your mum?
And my mum, she was very, she passed away when she was 70, and she was very sedentary. But, you know, she really didn't have a lot of health problems. So it's just interesting, the difference in people.
So you've lived 10 years longer than your mum?
Yes, and 25.
25 years longer than your dad.
My dad.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what do you eat during the day as an 80-year-old?
Right, okay. Always, and it probably stems from childhood. Apparently I'd never eat meat, and I'm not saying I don't eat meat, but I was big on veggies, and I'm still big on fruit and veggies.
Yeah.
So that's always, I don't know what percentage of my diet, probably.
So when you eat your breakfast, would you eat toast or porridge or fruit, or what would you have? A smoothie?
I would probably make a smoothie.
Yeah.
But
But not every day.
not every
So
day.
you change it quite a
I
bit.
change it up. I vary it. And yes, there are days when I will have toast,
Yep.
nice, and usually it's sourdough. And
What will you have on your
I'll
toast?
have avocado probably most of the time, and then I'll treat myself with peanut butter and honey on the last slice.
Oh, yum. I love that. What about for lunch? Do you have a big lunch and a small dinner, or do you have, what do you do?
No, I'm probably more inclined to have a late breakfast and not have lunch, but I might have a bit of a snack in the afternoon, some fruit or something. And then I love to cook most of the time.
And you've always loved cooking.
Always loved
you?
cooking.
Always,
yeah.
Jule is a nutritionist.
Yes.
So that's one of her passion points.
Yes. Yeah. And even today, like I don't have clients anymore, but I'm forever researching on nutrition and so on and so on.
And so what about for dinner?
For dinner.
And just a pause here, because my mum actually looks after my dad, because Dad's had a couple of strokes and his health is not that good. So, so we have an interesting dynamic there, because Mum's really active, which we'll get into in a moment, and Dad is quite sedentary. So often Jule is looking after him. She's taking him to appointments. She's cooking his meals still. She does all the cleaning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does any cleaning for her. We run yoga classes at her place. Dinner, and then what other activities do you do during the day? So dinner first. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up here. Dinner first.
Dinner first. All right.
What would you cook normally?
All right. There'd always be a salad, and there was some sort of veggies, and there would be meat. I was never a big meat eater, but I realised that I really do. I notice a difference if I don't have
some protein.
and even if it's not meat, it's lots of eggs. I will have, probably average an egg a day or something like that. I find that's really good.
So you have lots of veggies, salad, protein.
Yes, yeah. It's very simple, and yes, we do have.
And you don't get anything cooked for you? You do all your cooking?
No, I do it myself. Yeah. And sometimes I will buy ice cream or some sort of dessert every couple of weeks, and we will have it every night for about until it's gone. Yeah. And then I'll make sure I don't buy any more.
Yeah, right. So in a normal day, what kind of activity do you do?
Okay. So
besides your joint release in the morning, what other things do you do?
Okay. So I go to Amanda's yoga class 3 times a week. We'll walk in the forest with
2 or 3 times a week?
2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And if I don't do that, the activity, something happens to my mind.
Yeah, right. And what about in the house? Like, you clean?
I do the cleaning,
sweeping, washing, cooking.
Yep.
You do all the activities that, and you do all the gardening?
I do most of the gardening except I get someone in occasionally to do a bit of the heavy stuff.
Yeah, right.
So that I don't actually injure myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's...
If you had one piece of advice for anyone out there wanting to live a long, happy, healthy life, what would that bit of advice be?
That's a hard one. But in a way it's not. But it's only... this is for me. Not everyone is the same. I have to say, keep moving. Keep the blood flowing. That's all I can say. And in different ways, like walking, yoga, swimming.
Yeah, because we go swimming sometimes, don't we?
Yeah. Mixing it up. And the gardening. I mean, the gardening's amazing.
Yeah. And do you spend a fair bit of time outside? Do you?
Oh yes,
Yes.
yeah. I'm drawn to outside. I've noticed too that enhances my mood.
Yeah.
You know, if it's cold and like I'm so pleased where I live because the
We live in Queensland, Brisbane, Queensland,
Yeah.
Australia.
So if I lived in somewhere where we're indoors because it was just too cold, and I don't know how I would be. That would be quite difficult.
But you've chosen to live in a warmer climate because
Yeah.
we have lived in
Always,
Melbourne
yeah,
and Sydney and
yeah,
Canberra
yeah,
and
yeah,
Wagga.
yeah.
So we've lived in colder climates, but
Yes, we
you have chosen to live in
Yes, yeah.
a warmer
Yeah,
climate. Yeah, so that suits you
Oh,
better.
absolutely. Yeah. And it's like some people feel the cold more than
Yes.
others, and I'll be having a jumper on before anyone else has put one on.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just feel the cold.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a piece of advice that you could give people about dealing with difficult people? As someone, a wise woman, an 80-year-old woman who's probably dealt with a lot of people in her life, is there a word of wisdom that you could offer to people to help them navigate maybe difficult people, difficult relationships?
Okay. Well, when you asked me that, I thought, oh, that's just too hard. But then a thought came to my mind, and this thought was, don't get roped in to other people's
Stuff. Yeah.
Maintain your own self. Don't get, I don't know the word, roped in, dragged in, drawn in.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And when I say that, because I think perhaps I'd be classed as an empath, that is a big one for me, a really big life lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. You heard it here first with this wise woman, Jule. And Jule and I have giggled a lot in our time together. How old were you when I was born? 22.
Yes.
22. So, and I'm 50, nearly 58 now. So we've had a lot of years together. And I would say she's probably my best friend. She actually is my best friend. Is that weird? I don't think it's too weird. So I hope you've enjoyed this chat. If you have, and if you've found some insight or benefit, maybe share it with someone, like it, subscribe to this channel. And if you'd like to hear more from Jule, let us know in the comments below. She's hard to get on video. You're lucky. You are lucky she's here, because this is challenging. And we kind of said, when we came up here to do this, I just said, let's just see what happens. She goes, yeah, let's just see what happens. And look what happened. So good.
Maybe I'll get a taste for it. And
she's going to be a YouTuber.
I will be just painful. I will be on every day.
And let me tell you, she can be a real pain. No. Anyway, we will leave it there. If you enjoyed this, let us know. If you have any questions for Jule, ask them. And we'll try and get her on there to answer your questions. Thanks so much for being here. See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.